when the body gets ignited, and particularly around our sexual impulses and gets ignited to move toward orgasm, there are pieces that fire off where the brain literally cannot engage. Something opens inside of us, rushes, move through our body, and the brain turns off. For most of us, it's for that split second, and we are in an involuntary state, and our body is surrendered to something. And most of us are only aware of touching that state when we experience that few moments of that explosive orgasm. And I would say that a few people here and there have touched these deep states of let go in different moments. You know, we could maybe say the moment someone looks at their child for the first time. There are these moments that take your breath away and stop time. Most of us also only kind of trip on those moments by accident, right? We don't necessarily know how to set ourselves up that we can access those moments at will or create more of them in our life. And so when we go into this practice today, we're beginning to create the groundwork for asking the body to ignite and stream, allow energy to move freely through the body and ignite the body and take us into one of those altered states without requiring a spontaneous event that just bursts us open and stops time, and also without requiring sexual stimulation in the genitals. So literally sourcing it completely within our bodies by asking this physical body to do things and go into shapes that maybe it's not used to going into, and through that we allow for that great unlocking where energy naturally starts moving through the body and creating that, I'm trying to think of the perfect word, it's like that suspended surrender response where the brain lets go and something moves. And that suspended surrender response is one of these very precious gateways where this big secret about this work, maybe we came to it because we want to have better orgasms or feel more connected to ourselves sexually, and here we come back to this theme of we're actually using the body and our pleasure in order to open this doorway to something beyond ourselves, something that we don't understand, maybe something that we can't ever cognitively understand, but we can touch it and we can experience it. And as we're more and more in relationship with that thing, then it changes the texture of our lives. It changes the way we see everything. It changes the way we experience things in our bodies. Keeps us from operating mostly from our heads and into our bodies and our hearts. It changes how we have relationships, and of course it changes what we experience sexually. So what we're really practicing here is we're practicing as this intensity, we could call it arousal, although it won't feel like sexual arousal, as this intensity and this arousal rises in the body, rather than the habitual response to create tension around it, right? We talked about that in a very early week. We start to feel that rumble of orgasm, and we tend to hold our breath and create tension to point all of the energy toward that, so it comes to this point and explodes. Well, here when we're entering into this practice where there's this intensity and this rumble and this movement and this gateway opening inside of our bodies, well, this is the potential. In the beginning, it may not always feel that way. And then we get to practice maybe the most important thing, which is relaxing our body in that high state of intensity. And this is extremely important and powerful for sustaining and going deeper into pleasure, for having more capacity in life, for our capacity to touch and integrate and accept painful experiences. And when you start making this transformation where the body understands that even as energy rises, I don't need to immediately disperse it or let go of it, but I can actually be with it and maybe even integrate it, then every opportunity, whether it's something so dark and so challenging, or whether it's the most intense pleasure that in the past we could only allow for a mere moment, we begin to have the capacity to stay with it and allow it to move all the way through.